All right, folks, welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I got a special guest today, Mark Anthony, who I met him a few events back. I've come across him at a few events. First one was in Miami, this last one in Las Vegas. Mark Anthony is part of a task force rescue for child rescue. And very connected guy, has a lot of great intel. And This is his first time on Nino's Corner.tv, so I hope my audience really welcomes him in with open arms and gives him a round of applause. Thanks, Mark Anthony, for coming on. It's a privilege, man. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. It's been a long week, as you know.
Yeah, I talked to you quite extensively out in Vegas. We had a few discussions, and I was like, man, this is my type of guy. You're definitely in the know. We both know a lot of the same people, and we run in the same circles. So I know that I can verify that you know your stuff. I can validate that. Um, I've got to give you props first off for some of the things that you have done, what you've done for children. You've dedicated your life to this, and I understand you also provide security for some individuals, correct?
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So, so
you know your stuff, and we won't
yeah,
go too
yeah,
far. We won't go too far into that,
yeah.
but um, folks, first and foremost, before we get into this, this is kind of alarming because there's supposedly going to be two moons, right, Mark?
That's correct.
What, at the end of this month that we're going to see
Like,
a second moon, apparently,
I think it's supposed to
allegedly
appear on. I think it's supposed to appear on Sunday.
a second moon.
Well, that's what the talk is. They call it an asteroid slash moon. But according to Google, as you know, as well as we looked it up, and it was talking as a second moon. So yeah, I think it's a biblical moment.
Has this ever appeared in our skies before? Do you know this?
Say again.
I said, has this ever appeared? Is this cyclical? Has it ever appeared in our skies before?
I think many years ago it did appear, but it was I haven't went back and looked at some of the
I
data, but it appeared that this thing had came in our orbit once before, possibly hundreds of years ago, maybe thousands.
yeah. So before we get into this, could really wreak havoc on the Earth, but I'm my mind goes to even a little deeper down the rabbit hole, and I think could this be a narrative that they're pushing so that they could get away with whatever natural disasters they plan to manufacture? You know what I mean? That's where my mind goes with this. First, folks, get your healthy fat. As it turns out, the key to losing weight and keeping it off is not in the carbs or fat or even in probiotic rich foods. No, the end game of having a healthy weight, as well as more energy and a long, healthy life, comes down to a specific switch you can flip on in your body to flush out unnecessary calories. Dr. Stephen Gundry is calling this the caloric bypass. And by activating this special process in your body, he has seen thousands, yes, thousands of people dramatically improve their health, even at age 50 and beyond. This includes losing weight, getting tons more energy, and returning the good health they had in their youth once they simply addressed the key to better health. Not only that, this is actually associated with improved digestion, strong feeling joints and muscles, smoother skin, and healthier lives, meaning it could be the key to a happy life. There's a lot of little tricks to your health here, man. This is something I've been using as well. I use everything I push here, folks. Dr. Stephen Gundry has lost 70 pounds himself using this research and has kept the weight off for over 20 years and counting. His digestive issues are gone. His health is fantastic, and he feels younger and healthier today than he did in his 40s. His video has been watched by over 20 million people today, and you can watch and learn more about it at thehealthyfat.com/Nino. It's the link to the bottom of this video, folks. Get started. It's pretty damn incredible. All right, Mark, let's get into this. This is pretty wild, man. So I'm wondering in my mind, like, see, my mind automatically goes down the rabbit hole of is this a false narrative or is this real? Is this something they're pushing to make us believe in whatever happens next, whatever event happens next, and we'll just blame it on the second moon type of thing? Could that's where my mind goes with this.
Well, it's a possibility. I mean, we'll leave it up to the audience. We honestly don't know.
So it will be visible on September 29th.
That's what Google has indicated.
So this thing, and if I'm saying this correct, this could really have implications uh for our planet.
Well, if you take two moons, you got a gravitational pull. We already know the moon controls the waves. So if you got two intersecting gravitational pulls, you're going to get some pull left and right, which could disrupt the Earth's crust and the weather patterns. We know this
Maybe,
from science.
maybe this is happening now with Hurricane, what is it, Helene, that's coming
Helene,
through Florida right
it is
now.
very possible. It's very possible. Not only that, Nino, as you and I discussed earlier, I mean, we've got a supernova supposed to start this month too, and going into October the 2nd, we have a solar eclipse.
Man,
So
there
there's a
is it
lot of
me or has the last like 5 years just had uh more what is it, astrological things in the sky, solar eclipses, lunar eclipses, everything. I mean, there's just been more things happening in the sky, celestial events, that's the word I'm looking for, celestial events than ever before. I don't remember this happening as a kid this often, or in my teenage years, or in my 20s, 30s, or four. Just now in my 40s this has happened.
right, right. We're seeing more and more of it. We just had, all the Ninevehs. This happened, here recently, where the eclipse went up all the way through the Ninevehs, which is all biblical. I think we're moving into a biblical timeline, but you know as well as I do, we'll try to throw God's biblical timeline off because that's what they do. But I think the Earth is getting ready to experience a transitional period, and I think that we're going to see celestial things happen, and we're going to have things right here on in our backyard happening as well. Not only with celestial, but with the migrants that have come in. I believe this thing's going to erupt into something a lot bigger, and we just got to be very vigilant of what's going on in our neighborhoods.
It says here Earth will get a second moon in the form of a tiny asteroid called 2024 PT5. The asteroid will be a mini moon orbiting the planet for about 2 months between September 29th and November 25th. Perfect timing before heading back into its original gravity. The American Astronomical Society first shared the information through research notes. How to watch the mini moon. One wouldn't be able to see the mini moon with naked eyes, and it is made up of a small dull rock, but it can be seen with professional equipment. Watching it through binoculars or a home telescope is also difficult. So we're not going to really be able to see this thing. It's pretty small, but you're saying that this thing could have a lot of effect on the planet, and I agree with you.
Yeah, because anything that we have seen in history with that comes to science that comes anywhere close to the Earth, there's always an impact. I mean, even with CMEs and solar ejections, I mean, everything has an impact on this planet when it gets close to the orbit of the Earth's rotation.
And so, what is this? A nova explosion may soon be visible in the night sky. So, here's something else to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where and when to look. I mean, this is crazy.
I think that we're seeing a biblical timeline transpire in front of us, and I think that it's been there the whole time. But we've been diverted looking somewhere else. I believe that we're about to see some things, and the audience can go out and do their own research. But I believe we're going to see some some catastrophic events coming up. For some odd reason, I want to say that I was talking to a scientist that I know very well, and we talked about this a couple years ago. He said in a couple years, we'll see astrological signs that are going to come into play that we're going to. Well, I think we're here.
This is it. Yeah, I mean, it said that in the Bible, doesn't it? It says there'll be signs in the sky.
Mm-hmm. Sure does.
The end times, correct?
So, do we go back to something that you and I know very well? Is this what we consider the near-death moment? Is this the near-death experience that we're going to go through for the next couple of months? Who knows? But I think it's a good thing to put it out there and be vigilant of what could, what may have happened, because I mean it's our duty as Patriot America to put this out there for the public to see and draw their own conclusion.
I agree with you, and as above, so below type of thing. I think like if this is happening in the night sky, it's gonna have an effect here,
That's
and
right.
And I had Bull Pony come on talking about Yellowstone could blow this and that. Well, I wasn't factoring into the equation anything like this. Like this is, I, I mean, a second moon that's got to have some kind of gravitational pull or disruption on our planet. Plus, a nova explosion may soon be visible in the night sky. Here's where and when to look. I mean, this is
Plus an eclipse in October the 2nd. Now we just had eclipse like
another
what,
one,
a week
another
ago.
October eclipse, the second.
Yeah, on the 2nd. And I'll tell you something else. Did you see where the houses, I think it was North Carolina, where the houses were literally falling off the stilts going into the ocean? Did you see that on the news?
No, I did not. I can't even.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So there's anomalies going right now, and there's been some volcano activity as well. So I think all this disruption that we're seeing has a lot to do with what we're talking about right here.
Says here the stars aren't fixed and unchanging, unlike what many ancient people thought. Once in a while, a star appears where there wasn't one before, and then it fades away in a
Right.
matter of days or weeks. The earliest record of such a guest star, named so by ancient Chinese astronomers, is a star that suddenly appeared in the skies around the world on July 4th, 1054. It quickly brightened and became visible even during the day for the next 23 days. That's crazy.
I mean,
Wow.
what are we really moving into what we've talked about, a biblical timeline where, we're actually seeing this stuff unfold right before our eyes. And it sure does feel that way. I know you got a strong faith yourself, and we've talked about these things, but for some reason, I have this heartfelt feeling that, with the knowledge that we've gained and understand with this, that it looks like many anomalies are about to happen, and we may be shifting into that new paradigm.
It sure looks like it to me. I've never seen so many celestial events take place in my life. I mean, this is a first for me. And it kind of, and look how everything in the world's going crazy. I mean, everything is ramping up. It's just like, it's almost like if it was like a dial that you could turn up, it's going from like, like, I wonder if it has anything to do with the Schumann resonance. I think about all these things. I mean, is this cyclical? Is this what our planet always does? Or is this a one-time thing, and then what happens? We just collapse. Time and space collapses on itself. Like, what the hell is going to happen here?
Well, I mean, you think about it. I mean, your body's made up of, 80, 90% water. Think about, if the moon has the effect of what it has, think about what it's going to have the effect on your body as well. I was thinking about that earlier today after you and I talked on the phone. I thought, where is this going to shift our mood patterns? Is this going to shift how we feel? Are we going to feel tired? Is this going to wear us out? What's really going on? Because, no matter how it's like, as well as I do, when during full moons, people have heart attacks, things happen, the hospitals are full. We've seen it. And it's like, now we're going to deal with two celestial bodies up there. And it's like, man, what are we really facing here? What is really going on? And I encourage people to tune into that Bible and start reading their Bible, because I think that we're entering a biblical monumental moment.
This is so bizarre because I mean, if you just look at human behavior the way it is right now, it's everyone's acting erratic. It's almost like insanity is the new norm. It's like the new trend. Mental illness is like the new trend. Like, since when have we ever, has humanity ever really been like this on such a large scale? And it's only ramping up. It's only getting worse. It's almost by the day.
Right. I don't know what we're going to do besides just do our research and ask God to lift the veil to show us the answers. I mean, I look up every day. I pray before we get started. I pray when at the end. I mean, I'm always praying. And I don't think, I think deep down, all of us know and we feel internally there's something going on. You and I talk about that a good bit. Deep down, we know, and there's certain things we are privy to, and there's some things that we're not privy to, and we have to figure out and put together those pieces. And that's what we're doing now, is trying to figure out what exactly are we looking at, and doing our due diligence and bringing it out for everybody to observe.
What's crazy about this is that I didn't even know about this until right now. Like, I didn't hear about this a year ago. I didn't hear about this
Right.
2 years ago. Um, I have heard of a celestial event that's occurring in 2029 called Wormwood. Have you heard of this?
Wormwood. Yep. Yep.
That there's some kind of asteroid headed towards Earth, and they call it Wormwood, and it's supposedly the first I heard about it was from Philip Schneider, and I find that guy to be very credible. But I've talked to other people about this, and a couple have said yes, it's real, and others have said no, there's no validation on that. I mean, when are we going to hear about that? What, a week before like this? Because I'm just now hearing about this. So when 2029 comes and this asteroid's headed towards Earth, are we just going to hear it about a week before, and that's all we're going to have to prepare? I don't even know how you prepare for something like that, to be honest. But I'm just saying, like, this is pretty crazy.
There's a couple of people that I've grown to love over the years, and it's Suspicious Observatories. And I watch a lot what he puts out on a day-to-day basis. I get notifications, and then there's Dutch Sense, and I watched both of them. One has to do with earthquakes and the shifting of the crust, and he can tell you a week before an earthquake hits where it's going to hit and what the magnitude's going to be. He's that good. And then the other one is All Celestials, which is, like sun CMEs directed towards the earth. And because those things are important, people need to watch, those things to give us some kind of header that something's headed our way. And those guys are the guys.
Daniel Brinkley's come on my show, and he's talked about a solar flash. David Wilcock has also said this on my show, that a solar flash is expected in 2025. It's going to be a coronal mass ejection, but I got so much to worry about already. It's like I mean, if I were to be thinking about these things, I would just be sitting in, I'd be in a bunker somewhere, just hiding, just praying. I just can't live life like that. I don't think anybody here can. I mean, it's like this is such on a huge scale of magnitude on a scale that is just. I don't even know how you even prepare for something like this. I mean,
you just
would I want to even live through this? I mean,
you just have faith. I tell everybody all the time, you still go on with your life. You still contend to your family, you still work, and you just have faith that God will provide and take care of you. And it's all faith derivative, and if I had to worry about everything, and some of it, if I had to worry about everything that I'm involved in every day, I would just fall apart.
Yeah,
but
you got to compartmentalize.
You got to compartmentalize, and you got to go forward, and you just got to have that faith and pray and just move on. I mean,
so both of these events happening in September? Are they different? They're both this year, right?
So, for what we've taken note from, you have the second moon coming in. You have the nova mass star supposed to explode, and then you have the eclipse on the second, and if there's more, then I guess we'll be deep diving, trying to figure out what's more to come. But right now, those three are in articles that you can actually find on the internet to actually research those out.
So it says here, in the second half of 2024, a nova explosion in the star system called 𝗬𝗂𝗁𝗂, right? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
That's kind of suspicious to me, if you want to know the truth, that it's named that, right?
Right.
I don't want to go too much into it on YouTube, but this raises a lot of alarm bells for me, man. Big time. Borealis, or 𝗬CRB, will once again be visible to people on Earth. 𝗬CRB will appear 1,500 times brighter than usual, but it won't be as spectacular as the event in 1054. Man, that name right there, see, bro.
Right.
Always something else to this, man. I always go a little deeper, and I feel like these are all kind of narratives they're putting out, so they can get away with something. I think it's deceit, but who knows? I don't know. I mean.
Well, even though we know that they have the ability to control the weather pattern, we know that to be factual. What are they trying? Sometimes I think they're trying to speed up the process of the return of Christ, like make a fault. The Bible says that they would be a pretty much a false coming. It's I'm trying to remember the word for it. Well, yeah, that's coming. And if you read on that on the next Jewish holiday, it talks about the return of the Messiah. Okay, so we know that the red heifers have left and winded up in Israel already, and they're supposed to be sacrificed, which is supposed to usher in their Messiah,
But
which
it's
is not mine and
completely
yours.
manufactured. I mean, they had to raise them at a ranch and breed them and then send them out. To me, that's not natural. That's not organic. They bred them and then sent them out. That's not like something that just happened. You know what I mean? That's
Like,
not organic.
right,
So
just
that
like
you're
some
right. It's
farmer down the road just popped
right.
out a red heifer, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. It's just like, yeah, they engineered this. So to me, all of this is I'm gonna leave it up to my audience to decide on this. Folks, what do you think? I don't my mind's going in all sorts of different places right now, but I'm thinking but nonetheless, something's coming. Something's coming. I can feel it. You can feel we talked about this. We talked about this in Vegas. Both of
Yep.
us feel it, man. Everybody's feeling it. Everyone knows. Everyone's kind of like, and I always go to this analogy. My friend who owned a ranch, we were driving down a dirt road one day, and I couldn't feel any sign or anything of a storm coming, but the cattle started bunching together and the birds were flying low. And he said, "Oh, that's a storm coming." I mean, this guy's been out on the ranch his whole life, and sure shit, man. 4 or 5 hours later, a storm rolled in, and I didn't see it. I didn't see gray clouds, nothing. I guess I could have checked the weather and they would have said it, but just being out there, I would have never known. And the animals knew, and I feel like people are the same way. And I think we're all feeling something right now going into October, November. We know shit is about to hit the fan. Something big is coming.
No, I agree with you 100%. I mean, we've talked about this for years that leading up to this point. It's in I look at the overall scheme of things. I mean, we went from Trump in his administration to the Biden administration, and we've suffered through these 4 years of just craziness, right? Why did and then we're watching all these things happen in the background, and we're all working in the background trying to put together and save America, right? And then but it leads up to this point, and all this stuff here is happening like they knew this point was coming.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, the
And so
climax.
we're all fixing to go through that transitional point, but that it was just kind of delaying us into this transitional point that's fixing to happen.
I often wonder, has it always been planned this way? I mean, my mind goes that direction. Like, has it always been planned? Have they always know they were going to herd us into this and into this desired moment, and only the strong will survive, and that's who they want anyway.
But remember
They
this,
already got all the low hanging fruit with this, We already
right?
know that. They're
Right.
eliminated from this game show of the elites. You know what I mean?
You know, you know, you're exactly right. I mean, I mean, I can't argue that at all. I mean, we talked about the Trump coin. You and I went over that. I know a lot of people have seen the Trump coin, but have they seen the one that you and I seen? Just type in Trump coin and the sword and look at it. It lays it out, and then you go to the cogs, and that cog is an act. Okay.
Not on fluff tube, that not that word, but that's okay. I'll get it edited out. But hold on.
Okay.
What was the what was the name of the coin? I saw it with
It's I just typed in Trump coin with the sword.
let me see if I can find it. Hopefully I can find it because that was pretty damn uh boy, there's a lot here. Trump coin with sword.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
And just go
not.
to images and pull it up.
Okay, let me see if I can. Aha.
Got it.
I got it. All right, folks, get ready to look at this sucker. So I'll let you do the explaining on this one. But yeah, I saw everything that you pointed out for sure.
Sure.
Boom, here it is.
It's kind of a spooky thing when you really think about it. But if you'll zoom up on that, Nino, you'll where they can actually see that coin a little better to give them some ideas. But so you're going into the cogs, you're going into the satellite, you're going into the two shots,
Yeah,
and
right
then
here. Here's what happened in 2020, right here, folks. We have to kind of talk in
right,
code here. 2020.
right,
Then I see a satellite
that's right,
or a
and then you see
dish.
and then you see the launch, which is, in my opinion, it looks like Starlink, right?
Okay. And then there's
And
numbers
then
right here. What is this? What do the
and
cogs
then
represent?
well, I can't say that online because of it makes that tie that we talked about earlier.
Okay, okay,
You can
okay,
find that you can find that on a board somewhere tied
okay.
to
Fair enough.
something that we all know,
What
right?
about the zero
And
ones?
we all know what the board is, right? Well, that's tied into that board that we're talking about. If you go
Okay,
back and look at the old
okay.
board, it's tied into the board. Yeah,
What about this palm tree
and
here?
then you go up, and you gotta. That's a hard one to decipher unless that stands for ISIS.
Ah, okay. But this all
Um,
means something, and then
does that
and
make
then
sense?
and then here's the space shuttle going to
And
with
then the piece of,
a piece of it, then
and then
Saturn.
Saturn, which is Satan.
Uh-huh. Could that be
So
something that's nefarious? I mean, could this be the direction they're taking humanity? I don't know, man.
it's really hard to say, but I found this to be very intriguing that that our president had signed that coin with his signature. But there's something to it. How it lays
100%
itself
there
out,
is.
yeah, how it lays itself out, the audience will have to put that together. Um, but it's really funny is when Nikki Haley left President Trump's administration, she actually went to become part of the Sanhedrin Council in Israel. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
Yeah, so that's about the time that this coin came out. But there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, and it takes all of us to work together to figure out some of these pieces that we don't know. But it's very, I mean, it's crazy,
It is crazy. Look at this. I mean, we know that obviously I look at this and I know what that means. And
right?
then the heart right here. I mean, huh?
Is that myocarditis?
Yeah, that could be any.
You,
Yeah, it could mean that.
I mean, you're looking at this going, okay, what's really going on here? And then the cogs are, obviously things that are put out um, into the public. They're what we call, well, cogs. But and then, like I said, the 001, 011, 0, that's in on the board if people know what I'm talking about.
I know what
And
you're
then, like
talking
I
about.
said,
Yeah.
then yeah, and then we got, I think the launching of Starlink, and then we're already talking about sending people to space, right?
Yeah.
And then you got the piece of, and then like I said, the Saturn, which is a stand for Satan.
Oh, this is crazy, man. I'll let
So what are we really looking at? Who knows? But listen, the more that you put out there that for people for information, there's a lot of people out there that are great investigators, and
yeah,
they've helped us even in behind the scenes put things together that actually has helped us move forward in the Patriot movement.
100%. I get emails all the time with people helping me out. I mean, I
Right.
mean, consistently people just sending me information. I mean, tons of people. So I appreciate all of them. I definitely read all of it. I try to at least. But Mark, I don't know. Do you want to be found on the internet? Do you want to give out your handle or you don't? I don't know. No. Okay.
You know me, I like to be quiet behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
absolutely.
Yep.
But I
Yep.
do appreciate you coming on to talk about this and giving a warning to the public saying, hey, man, something ain't right here. Two big celestial events happening. I don't know what to think. I mean, I'll leave that up to my audience. You all leave your thoughts down below. I always think a little bit deeper, like this could be friggin' manufactured and they're getting ready to do something. That's just where my mind goes, dude. I just, you know, but all right, folks, leave a comment down below, let me know, and also like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notifications button. Thank you, Mark, for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.